All right, hello everybody and welcome to our third Snack and Chat. Today we are chatting with Sam from Enterprise. So everyone say hi, even though I just told you all to mute your mics. We're glad to have you here and be still connecting even though we are all not together. You know, this is nice. Start off with some questions, Sam, just about you and Enterprise and your experience working there.
All right.
First question, can you tell us about yourself and how you came to work for Enterprise?
Yes. So my name is Sam Lavoie. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me join the Snack and Chat today. I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. I've got a new puppy here at home, which is ideal for quarantine, but not great for Zoom conferences and meetings. So if you hear anything in the background, it's just him chewing on his bone. But a little bit about me. I've been with Enterprise a total of 10 years. So I actually grew up in the Atlanta area. I consider Atlanta home. I attended, as far as schooling, I attended the University of Georgia. I obtained a degree in marketing and then joined Enterprise 1 month after graduating. I said, I'm going to take a month off, go to the beach after being a senior, and then decided to join Enterprise as a management trainee. So a little bit about my career. Again, in June will be my 10-year mark. It's been the only place I've worked since leaving school, which is a little bit unique. That's not common. And started as a management trainee, which is an opportunity that we typically hire fresh college grads into. It is a full-time opportunity, really teaching you how to run and operate a business. So I worked my way up through management, working in the rental car stores, so the ones that you see around town. I did that in Atlanta for about 2.5 years, and then about 6.5 years ago, transitioned to the HR side of things. So I started as a recruitment specialist. Then I was a recruiting manager. After 7.5 years in Atlanta with the company, a wonderful opportunity opened to be the recruiting manager in Honolulu, Hawaii. So I packed my bags. I moved 6,000 miles away from home and got to travel throughout the islands for 2 years. I managed a team of 3. We did all the hiring. It was a really cool experience. Not only was it fun living in paradise for a couple of years, but actually Enterprise, we're a tri-branded company. I don't know if a lot of people know that. We actually operate with Alamo and National Car Rental as well. Those tend to be more in our airport markets. So I got to learn a lot more about those 2 brands and that business while I was out in Hawaii. So spent 2 years there and then took my most recent promotion, which brought me here to upstate New York. And yes, it is a promotion, even though it's snowing outside today and it's 85 and sunny on the islands. But I am the group talent manager. So what that is I oversee our recruitment team, but I also oversee our training and development initiatives. So it's a little bit about me and my career with Enterprise.
Well, I'm certainly jealous. I would much rather be in Hawaii right now than with all the snow on the ground, but it's fine. So can you tell me, what is your favorite part about working for Enterprise?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that I love about Enterprise, but I think the biggest thing that I love most are the people. It's one of the things that's kept me here, and I can, say a true testament of moving 6,000 miles across the country and moving back is that Enterprise people are Enterprise people regardless of where you go. It's a really strong family feel as far as the company culture, and that's really important to me. I like to be surrounded by great people at work every day. What I also love about the company is that it's 100% growth within. So if everyone starts in kind of that entry-level capacity and has their opportunity to work their way up. So those 2 kind of go hand in hand for me, because I like that I'm moving, I like that I'm promoting, I like that I'm advancing, but then also because everyone starts in that same role, that's what makes the people so great, is that you have that almost built-in mentorship in leadership. So everyone kind of knows what you're going through as you climb the ladder. So I would definitely say the people and the company culture, but then my number 2 would be the promotability and the growth opportunity.
Great. Next, can you tell us about, or give us an example of a challenging experience that was very rewarding?
Yeah, I think I shared a little bit about it in the Tell Me About Yourself, but the most challenging experience and thing that I've ever done was moving 6,000 miles away from everybody that I know. At the time of me moving to Hawaii, I didn't have family coming with me, not married, no children. So I picked up and moved out of my comfort zone of where I had been living for the last 20 some odd years and moved to one of the most isolated places on earth. It was was really scary, because you run through the questions of, am I going to like it there? Because it's a very different feel than from where you're used to. The culture is different. Am I going to be good at my job? I think there's a lot of unknowns when you do that, but I can hands down say it was the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. It helped me grow personally. It helped me grow professionally, and found a really new, strong sense of independence through that as well. So best thing I've ever done. I feel like I can do anything now. I'm sure you want me to go here, I'll go there, whatever works. So, yeah.
Well, that's certainly a great thing to learn from a job. That's awesome. So I feel like I'm going to skip the next question. What is the most important thing you've learned? I feel like you kind of just touched on that, your willingness to just up and go. So I'm going to go to the next one. What advice would you give to someone looking to apply for Enterprise?
Yeah, I would say a couple different things. Keep an open mind. When I first heard about Enterprise and the opportunity, my mom was the one that actually introduced the company to me coming out of college. And I'll be honest, I was kind of a huge brat about it and said, no, Mom, I didn't go to school for 4 years to rent cars for a living, but it was so much more than that. And, 10 years later, a true testament to say 10 years, 10 promotions across 3 different states. So, keep your options open. And that's not necessarily for the Enterprise. I think that's anywhere that you go in any avenue that you pursue. And then, finding a mentor, whether that's at Enterprise or whether you find yourself in another career. I think finding a mentor is really, really integral professionally, because it's going to help you through the good days. It's going to help you through the bad days. So I always think that while we like to do things on our own, oftentimes you can't always, you got to have your tribe, so to speak. So I think keep an open mind. You never know what opportunities are going to come across your plate, and then finding a mentor to help you through any tough days, and then celebrate any accomplishments with you as well.
Some more great advice. Thank you, Sam. Our next question, how would you describe the perfect person for Enterprise?
Yeah, I think with the biggest thing with Enterprise, and I don't know if you guys have seen any of our commercials that have kind of come across, or a lot of it's been on social media. Not that you would, but doing some really great things with obviously the COVID-19 situation that's going across. We are an essential business supporting medical professionals, supporting the military, moving materials and essentials and things like that. And we see all these videos of these different Enterprise employees that are going above and beyond to help in that need of crisis. And I think that that's a true testament to the people that we're looking for, is that they have a passion for people, not only for each other, but for customers as well, because that's kind of the true priority with us. Our founder, Jack Taylor, he had a really simple philosophy: take care of your employees, take care of your customers, and growth and profits are going to follow. And so we're big on that. We want someone that sees a knack for helping customers, that sees a knack for each other and has a passion for that. I definitely think also someone who is results driven and competitive. We're a performance-based environment. So if you want to grow and advance, it is based off your performance and not your tenure. I think someone that likes something new every day. That's kind of what I love about Enterprise, is it's not the same thing day in and day out. There's different challenges. There's different problems to solve. And then there's different rewards and accomplishments on the other side as well. So I would say those are probably 3 big things we're really looking for: passion for people, someone that's results driven, and then someone that has that flexibility and adaptability and likes something new every day.
Awesome. Well, I definitely know we've got Brockport students who have all of those qualities. So
yes,
passing this all along to them. Our next question, what do you wish someone would have told you before you started this career?
Yeah, I think I kind of touched on it a little bit, but keeping an open mind, kind of coming into it, I quickly learned that. But then also, this is just my plug of advice. I wish someone would have given me a little bit more better advice about my retirement. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I think 401ks and retirements, when we first start a career right out of school, we often forget about that. And I was that person that did that. And then I look back and I'm like 2 or 3 years into my career running an office. And I thought to myself, oh, I forgot to set that reminder 30 days in. I forgot to do that, and so here we go, 10 years later, we fast forward, and I can imagine how the next 10 years and how fast the following 10 years are going to go. So I wish someone would have reminded me. So that is my little plug to any new hire we have that comes on board with us, is don't forget to do some of those things, because while it seems really far away, it's important to, take a look at that early on.
Heck, that's good life advice in general.
Yeah, I learned the hard way, so learn from my mistakes.
All right, so here's one kind of the opposite of the perfect person for enterprise, but what negative traits do you often see in recent college graduates?
Yeah, I shy away from using negative or using the word weakness, but I would say an area of opportunity, being that a lot of my world for the last 6.5 years has been recruitment. I've, conducted thousands and thousands of interviews on a yearly basis. And where I think a lot of times fresh college students coming into an interview struggle is they have a hard time defining what they want to do in the future. And I was in that situation coming out of school. I didn't have all my ducks in a row. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up. But I think having a little bit of an idea of what role you could see yourself playing in the future, because when I ask that question of what do you want to do in the next 1 to 2 years, and oftentimes I'll get, I don't know, or I just want to gain more experience. So I would encourage you, if you don't have exactly what you want to do, look at your past experiences, find out what do you like, what do you not like, and utilize that to kind of guide you for your track coming out of school.
More great advice. Our next question, what would surprise people about your daily work?
Yeah, I think oftentimes they hear, okay, talent manager. Well, first they say, what the heck does that mean? And then when I explain, I oversee recruitment and then I have training under my belt as well. I think they think it may just be facilitation of classes and then some interviews. But when it comes to the recruitment aspect of things, it's so much more than just interviews. It's being on campus, doing events like this, being a brand ambassador in the community, partnering with different initiatives in the community as well. So, I think another thing too is upstate New York for our territory. So we pretty much cover everything from Albany west. We get about 5,000 applications on a yearly basis, which is a lot of applications to sift through. So I think what would surprise somebody is how many people are applying. What's the number of those people that we're actually hiring? And then the other part of my world where it's training and development, I'm actually the only recruiter. So I oversee all of those initiatives for the 1,200 employees that we have. So oftentimes I think people think we just sit back, put our feet on the desk and do interviews, but it's much more than that.
Definitely. That's a lot of applicants to look through for sure. What is something that a person can do to set themselves apart from other candidates?
Yeah, I think for me, first and foremost, research the company, research the position. If I ask a candidate, what do you know about the role, or what do you know about enterprise, and they tell me not much, well, then why are you there? I almost feel like it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of their time. So really research the company, research the job, take a look at the mission statement, look at what the values are, make sure that that really lines up for what you're looking for and what's important to you. And then I would also say get as involved as you can, whether that's working, whether that's volunteer, whether that's extracurricular activities on campus, off campus. I haven't met a recruiter, regardless of the industry, that's not intrigued by someone that has done more than just go to school. And so I think having that extra involvement is going to help you build your resume. It's going to help you build your expertise, and then you can really utilize that in an interview. So I would say those are a couple things to set themselves apart from other candidates.
Definitely. All right, our next question, what types of positions are typically hired by enterprise?
Yeah, we typically hire a wide gamut of positions, but I would say I can categorize it into 3 main. So the first one's going to be part-time capacity. So those are going to be like customer service roles. You'll find those typically where they're like driving our vehicles or maybe working at our airport locations. We also hire summer internships. Those are full-time, so we hire on the management training side, so working in the rental location. And then we also hire on the accounting and finance side, working at our upstate New York headquarters office in Rochester, right by the airport. And then lastly, the main position that we hire into on a full-time basis is going to be our management training program. So that's what I was referring to where I started in the company. It really kind of helps build your knowledge of the business and work your way up into different levels of leadership within the company.
And speaking of working your way up, what kinds of opportunities for growth and advancement are there?
Yeah, 100% within. I know I touched on it earlier, but that's one of the things that I love about enterprises. I know if I'm coming in and working hard every day, I'm not waiting for Bob or Susie in front of me to retire. I'm going to have that opportunity to advance and grow my leadership levels and grow my knowledge of the business. So 100% growth within, and it is all performance based as well.
Awesome. Well, that is the end of our first section of questions. I just want to see, does anyone have any questions they want to ask about enterprise specifically before we go on to our career topic? I'm thinking no. If anyone comes up with questions, you can just shoot them in the chat or we can ask them at the end. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our career topic. We're talking about internship and job search today. Do you want to start with your presentation, Sam?
Yeah. So I'm going to, let's see if I can get it up and running. I'm still learning Zoom, so sorry. Okay. So we should see it. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, wonderful. So I just have a quick 5-slide presentation about internship and job search strategies, but obviously I know Sarah has a series of questions that we'll go through after, and feel free to ask anything along the way, but these are just kind of a couple steps in where do you get started, how do you prepare, and kind of what goes into that, right? Because you know the end result of what you want the job, you want the internship, but how do you start and how do you get there, and what does that look like in between? And I think sometimes we don't really have a lot of guidance in what to do. So I just put together a quick 5 slides for you guys. So some steps to that would be, we'll talk about the big question. And I don't know if you guys are wondering what that is, but we'll go over that. We'll talk about some ways to self-assess, resources for your search. So where can you find these jobs? Where can you find these internships? There's multiple avenues of different resources that you can start your search. How do you prep for it? And then what are some goals and some action plans to getting the job or landing the internship? So the big question, what do you want to do or what do you want to be when you grow up, right? We always ask that question when we're younger, and it loosely translates to where do you see yourself in the future? What is your dream job? What are your desired positions or fields of interest? And then are you open-minded to different things? You don't have to have the question exactly answered, but I would say if you haven't asked yourself that, really take a look at where do you see yourself going? What interests you in the future? And what do you want to develop into? And I think that's always a good place to start, because once you kind of start lining up some of those things, then you're going to know how to mold that to the actual search and finding that perfect internship or finding that great first step into that career after college. So self-assessment, after you kind of have narrowed down what you'd like to do, then the next step would be to really assess yourself. What are the required skills of the position? What are the required competencies? And then what qualifications do you have? So are they looking for a certain amount of experience? Are they looking for a certain degree, GPA, whatever that may be? You have to know where you line up, so that way you can assess, am I right for the position? Is this a great match? And should I submit the application? How do I get my foot in the door? So some things to think about when we talk about skills, some transferable skills. I think a lot of times college students have a hard time articulating this, but think about all the different things that you've done in your college career and in school and maybe out of school as well. So some things you've learned through sports, maybe teamwork, group projects, working towards a common goal, overcoming challenges, maybe within school or personally, juggling different schedules. So those are all those transferable skills that you may not be utilizing them in a work environment, but you're utilizing them more in an extracurricular or college environment. But those are certainly transferable skills that you can take to the real world and to a professional environment. Your bachelor's degree, so you always have to take a look at that. That is some qualifications. For enterprise in particular, we don't require a certain degree. We also don't require a certain GPA, but I do know that other companies will look at what degree you have, what is your major, and then what is your major GPA and your overall GPA as well. So have an understanding of what is required of that job or internship. Your work experience skills. So have you done sales before? What technical abilities do you have? Are you great in Excel? Can you whip out a PowerPoint? Are you good at Word? How's your Outlook skills? How is your phone skills? Did you have any management or leadership previously? So those are going to be a little bit different than the transferable skills. These are actually skills you've gained from any work experience, volunteer events that would translate over to a professional environment as well. And then know what do you want in an internship and job. So the best way to do that is take a look at your past experience, whether it's working or not working, volunteer, and really make a list of what have you liked in the past and what have you disliked in the past. And that's going to be a good starting point to transition to where you'd want to go and what type of job or internship you'd like to have. Look at the characteristics of it. So the different things that you like. Write your top 3 favorite things and write your bottom least favorite things. Are you looking for something to build your resume? Are you looking for growth or opportunity? Do you want a full-time job offer after an internship? Does work environment really excite you? Is that important to you? Do you want to work as a team or do you want to work individually? And then as far as stability, for some people, and me personally, I like a big company because I know it's a large opportunity. I'm going to have advancement. I'm going to be able to grow. For others, I know that they like maybe more of a startup vibe because it's a little smaller, a little bit more intimate. You can have more stake in the game with the business. So a lot of those are going to be personal preference, but in order to understand where you're going to be happiest and what's going to drive you the most, you gotta have to start making that list and formulating what do you like and what do you dislike. So resources for your search. So where do you begin? So now that you've already asked yourself the question, you have an idea of what you'd like to do, how do you find those opportunities? Well, there's a number of different ways that you can do that. One is going to be your career center. So definitely utilize your folks in the career center. They're going to help connect you with employers, recruiters, or even just maybe some websites that you can take a look at. Be involved. Go to info sessions. So I think it's fantastic for the students that are on this snack and chat today. It's not required, but it's a great way to learn some extra advice. And maybe kind of get a little hint of what you'd like to do. Internet, obviously that's a big one. Google, you can always go to Google search. You want to look at job boards. One thing I would encourage you students to do is, ask yourself the question, what does your social media say about you? Because it is out there. It is something that you have to be mindful of. If you're out there searching companies on the web and you're looking at reviews, we can almost guarantee that employers are doing the same thing, looking at your LinkedIn profile, seeing if it's complete, seeing what they can learn about a candidate before they come in the door. And then LinkedIn, if you don't have a LinkedIn, I'd highly recommend that you set one up. It's a must for your professional life. Also, outside of your career center, folks, and your internet, rely on your family, friends, and peers. Employer referrals are a big source of where people find jobs and how they hire people. For us personally at Enterprise, we fluctuate from about 40 to 50% of our hires come strictly from employee referrals that are working with us. So make sure that your friends, family members, and peers know that you're looking and make sure they know what you're looking for. So if they know of an opportunity that might be a great match for you, they can connect you. And then any additional faculty and administrators that can help you in school as well. All right, so how do we prepare? You want to do your homework on the company and the position. I already touched on this a little bit throughout the questions, but read the job description. Look at the career growth. Look at the mission statement, the company values, the social responsibility. You want to make sure you have an understanding of what does this company represent, and then does this align with what I'm looking for as well. If you're meeting a company representative at an event, so whether it's an info session or career opportunity, you want to make sure that you've got your elevator speech ready. So that 1-minute speech about you and what you bring to the table and what you're looking for. If you're prepping for an interview for the job or the internship, you want to focus on why you want it. You want to prove that you've done your research. You obviously have to know how your knowledge, skills, and abilities relate to the opportunity. And then a good piece of advice is to always practice with mock interviews before you go into an interview. Okay, so you've prepared, you're qualified, now you need a strategy to win the job or win the internship. So you've done all the searching, how do you get it? Well, you want to set goals to obtain your ideal internship or job. So how do you do that? Write down your goals. Share your goals with others so that way they can hold you accountable in addition to yourself. You want to be persistent and then hold yourself accountable with an action plan. So an action plan to get that job or internship. Create a to-do list. Schedule tasks and follow up, and then you want to be specific. So maybe if you're on the hunt You set a goal of finding 5 companies that you're interested in by Friday, sending 6 resumes by the next week, and then calling 4 different alumni in different industries. So really set some goals for yourself. Have an action plan, write the action plan down so you can hold yourself accountable to it. And then lastly, be excited about who you are and what you have to offer to land that job or internship. So that's my quick slide presentation. I have a quick link here. I don't know if you guys want to take a picture of your screen real fast, students, but if you type in this link, it will allow you to put in your information today, and it will automatically load you into Enterprise's system. And then what we can do is I can coordinate and stay in communication with you about any future opportunities that we have.
I can send that out to them, Sam, and I might follow up email as well, just to make sure they all have access.
Perfect. Yes, please do. And it's just going to ask some basic questions, your name, your email address, and what year you are in school.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
All right, so that's what I have.
Awesome. All right, so you've touched on a lot of my career topic questions, but I'll just ask you a couple of them anyway.
Sure.
So what would you say are the benefits of an internship?
Yeah, I think the benefits of an internship are going to help you decide on what you like and what you don't like. So there's a couple different benefits. It's going to help you narrow down, yes, I really love working in this office environment, sitting at a computer all day, or no, you know what, I need to be on my feet more. I need to be interacting with people more. So it's going to help you narrow down what you like and what you don't like. Another benefit of an internship is that it could lead to a full-time job offer with that company. That's the goal with Enterprise. Anytime we bring on a summer intern, it's basically like a 90-day job interview of yourself, because we're assessing how you do, and then are we going to extend an offer to you at the end of an internship. Another benefit, sometimes class or professors will give you credit for it, so it doesn't always hurt to ask. I know oftentimes we hire about 20 to 25 interns, and I'm frequently filling out paperwork for students that they submit to their professors so that they can receive class credit. So a number of different ways, but it's really going to help you build your resume as well and be a good introduction to the company and a good starter as far as experience before graduation.
All very accurate. I agree with all of that. When do you think is a good time to start looking for an internship?
Yeah, I think the earlier the better. Certain internships will have certain requirements. So for us, as an example, we typically hire rising seniors. The reason we do that is because we want to offer those full-time job opportunities, and we really are looking for students that only have 1 or 2 semesters left of school before coming on board. Where other companies, they're looking really for sophomores, or maybe in between the freshman and sophomore year as well. So the earlier the better. One piece of advice I would say while you're searching for internships is kind of set out a plan. What I've found from communicating with students is that they often want to study abroad, or they'll have all their awesome, fantastic opportunities. Make sure that you're planning all that out, so that way you're not trying to squeeze both in that last summer before your senior year or that summer after you graduate. We want to make sure that you can capitalize on all of it, so it doesn't hurt to start earlier on the internship front, especially if you know one of your summers may be tied up with something else. I highly recommend the earlier the better, and then the intern postings will guide you in which ones you apply for and which ones you don't.
Definitely agree again with everything. A job kind of related question, although this could go for internships as well. You know, I've submitted a ton of applications, but I haven't heard back from anyone. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, I don't think that you're doing anything wrong. I think you heard the number, we have 4,000 to 5,000 applications. And if I told you that I could remember 4,000 to 5,000 people, I would be lying. And I know that other recruiters are in the same boat as well. So it may not be that you're doing anything wrong. It may just be a really large volume. So I am okay, and I don't get offended when someone reaches out to me and says, hey, I submitted my application about 5 days ago. I haven't heard back from anybody. Usually it's because it got lost somewhere in the midst of everything. And so we're kind of trying to search and find it. So I would highly recommend try and look on the company website to see if you can get a recruiter or a hiring manager's contact info, and just send them a quick email. Make it personal and just ask the status of it. And sometimes they'll follow up right away, sometimes they won't, but don't be afraid that you're going to call us out or that you're putting us on the spot. I appreciate that and I value that, because it shows that you're excited. It shows that you're eager about the opportunity and you wanted to learn more about it. You weren't just putting the application and then seeing what happens. So I definitely don't think that you're doing anything wrong. Sometimes it's the sheer volume. Other times I would also tell you to reflect on the job posting and then take a look at your resume and make sure some of those keywords line up, because certain applicant tracking systems have keywords that will filter people's resumes to the top for the recruiters of certain like buzzwords throughout that they're looking for, whether it's leadership or management or competitiveness or maybe certain skills. So take a look at that job description and make sure that some of those keywords in the job description line up with some of the keywords on your resume in the event that maybe that's why it's not being pulled to the top.
Definitely. So how should I respond when someone asks what my salary expectations are?
Yeah, I think do a little research on the front end. Glassdoor actually provides salary ranges, if not specific salary for certain roles. And it may not be for that particular company, but you can look up something similar at maybe a competitor or what is the industry within that area, right? Because obviously cost of living is going to play into effective salary ranges as well, but get an idea of what the salary range could be. And if you're ever afraid, I mean, I would ask the recruiter. That would probably be the most appropriate person throughout the interview. Oftentimes, and I think it's one of the questions, the recruiter is not the hiring manager. Those are typically two different people. And there's multiple people that go into making the hiring decision for a particular candidate, but the recruiter is going to have all the job information, including that salary. So that way you can ask them, so that way you have an idea. Do the research on the front end, so that way you have set those expectations for yourself and you're not really low or really high on that. And then just be honest with them about what they're looking for. For some, it's all negotiable based on your experience. For enterprise in particular, we don't ever kind of come across that because the compensation is what the compensation is and it's posted in our jobs. So every company is a little bit different, but I would say do the research first. And then if you are curious or wondering, ask the recruiter first before running it by the hiring manager.
Great. And that leads me to my next question. What is a hiring manager?
Yeah. A hiring manager is typically the final decision maker in the hiring process. They're typically the ones that are going to oversee that person, or maybe they're the person that oversees the person that's going to oversee the candidate. The recruiter is different than the hiring manager. The recruiter will typically do like a phone interview or a first round interview, and then they manage the interview process by setting you up with all these other managers in between. But the hiring manager is typically that final decision maker, and they're the ones that are going to oversee that person or oversee that department.
Great, thank you. Should someone go into the employer's facility and drop off their resume?
They can, yeah, absolutely. I would say start online first, because typically that's the best way to do it, and find an opportunity to reach out to a recruiter. But for some companies, they may not have online applications. It doesn't hurt to make it personal. I definitely don't think that it would hurt. And you may be leaving it with like a receptionist or an administrative assistant up front, but you can certainly go in and do that. Unless they've told you that you not to, right? Then take the advice of that. But yeah, I think that it doesn't hurt. Just I would drop it off and then see if they can give it to that person if they won't let you get in direct contact with the hiring manager, which oftentimes you probably will talk to the recruiter or a receptionist.
All right. And our final question, how do you stay motivated and optimistic in the midst of a job and internship hunt?
Have fun with it. You know, the biggest thing is that you are looking for that next step. And I think having fun with it and not putting so much pressure on yourself is the best way to stay optimistic about it. Be resilient, show your eagerness to the company, show your eagerness to the recruiter or hiring manager. And then the one thing that I've always really liked in my time in recruiting is when I get a follow-up, either email or card. I think that it sets the candidates apart, something personal, after we've had that opportunity to sit down together. So, you know, take notes throughout that and make it fun when you're replying back to the company or the recruiter, kind of put your own little spin on it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. You have great advice there, that's for sure. I just want to open up to see, do any of our students or anyone have any questions that they would like to ask?
Hey, I have one actually.
Okay.
So Sam, I was wondering if you could talk about the role that like a job fair would play, when you're in the middle of a job search or an internship search, or, if employers are on campus for events.
Mm-hmm. So that is really the first impression, oftentimes that the employer is going to have with that person. And I will tell you that as we meet people on campus, or as I meet people at career fairs or info sessions or whatever the reason may be, someone that sets themselves apart by being professional, being prepared, coming to the table with what they're looking for and why, the research that they've done. I think oftentimes at career fairs, and this may just be a personal pet peeve, so no one take offense to it, but I hate when a student comes up to me and says, "What do you have to offer?" And I'm like, then I spend 5 minutes talking about what I have to offer, but they're looking for something completely different, right? So I think the biggest thing is do the research ahead of time, because you're going to capitalize on that experience on campus with those employers and make the most of your time that you have with them to leave that lasting impression, so that employer goes back to their office and says, you know what, I really loved this ex student at Brockport. I'm going to contact them. I think they'd be a great match for this position. So doing a little bit of preparation on the front end is really going to help make that interaction more impactful for you in finding that internship or job search. And oftentimes, I mean, it could be one interaction at a career fair where I think they're fantastic. We get an application in and we start an interview process right away. So they are very, very important. But doing the research on the front end and prepping for it, I think it will get you a lot further with that in-person interaction on campus.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Great question, Jane. Thank you. Our grad student Tim had a comment that he wanted to make. Go for it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, hi. How's it going?
Good.
I just wanted to say I worked for the Hertz Corporation for a while before I decided to change paths in different upper management areas. And I know for me, I think what I really learned about that job, which is probably similar to enterprise, are just real basic people skills, how to interact with people in a professional manner, how to deal with people from different walks of life. And it's been so valuable for me in academics. So even if a job at enterprise isn't a long-term goal for a career, the value in just learning how to interact and be a professional is incredibly valuable. So that's my comment.
Well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate the comment.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah.
Go for it. Nope. Tim, were you just, never mind. I don't think that was a question. All right. I think that's all of our questions. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you, Sam, so much for everything today. Did you have any last minute comments you'd like to make before we end this?
No, I just want to say thank you so much. I know it's an interesting setup that we have these days, but just stay healthy, stay safe, and please don't hesitate to reach out. Sarah has my contact information, so whether it's you just want any sort of advice or you're looking for an opportunity, please utilize myself and our team here at Enterprise. And I appreciate Brockport letting us come in and chat today.
Definitely.
No coffee, but thank you.
I know I forgot to have a real snack today too, but it's fine. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming today. Like Sam says, I can't even talk. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we hope to see you all on campus again soon. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.